Hi, Shannon O'Flaherty here. What was your childhood paradigm? Early childhood, we're talking from when you were 3, 4, 5. If you go back and have an image of yourself from that time, right? I can see myself pretty cute, high ponytails. In my one image, I'm standing in front of my childhood house on the sort of porch where we always used to take first day of school pictures or later prom pictures, all the pictures they were always taken there. It's summertime. I'm wearing a bright yellow shirt and I have a little pinafore dress on, and I'm pretty cute. And obviously, my parents are below taking pictures, but how I feel inside myself is not pretty cute. I must have been 5 or 6. I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious. I'm feeling a little bit insecure because all I wanted to do was to make my parents happy. I wanted to please them, and I was never quite sure of what response was I going to be met with because there was so many mixed messages, right? My parents, from my adult healed place, my parents are absolutely wonderful. They're both exceptional people. But that's not what forms us and shapes us for the rest of life. What happens is when we're children, we make a decision based on the information that we're picking up from our parents. So I never felt really seen or heard because I felt that my parents were too impatient to receive my childlike fantasy mind and all of the visions. And when they couldn't deal with my child mind, which at the time I thought was all knowing because I wasn't closed down yet, they would get impatient with me and send me off to my room so that I could process by myself. So I was put in isolation, and then I would have massive temper tantrums and be jumping on my bed and screaming and upset with all of this rage because I felt suppressed, like they weren't asking me the right questions. They weren't asking me, okay, little annoying kid, what is it that's really going on for you? So, for some people, I was discussing this with some of my students. For some people, they might not have felt safe. Some people might not have felt held. Some people might not have felt received. It can generate self-repeating sort of prophecies for you your entire life because you'll get caught in a kind of behavior dynamic. So what you want to do is go back to that little child self and rewrite your child paradigm. Play out the scene again, only this time how would it be if your parents responded to you the way that you needed them to respond to you when you were that child, so that you can play that scenario out in your mind's eye? My parents, they would have asked me more intuitive questions. They would have shared more feelings with me, more real thoughts instead of just being on the surface of things, because I wanted more feeling. I wanted to get into how people were feeling. I didn't want things to be surface. I wanted to be able to express um, frustration. I wanted to be able to express my feelings of not feeling seen or heard. Not that I would have had the words for it at 5 or 6, but anyway, that's what I wanted. I wanted my parents to ask better questions, but I didn't have the verbiage at 6 to be able to ask them to do that, right? So there was a communication break somewhere. So one of my students asked, well, what if one of the things you need to be is to be received. So now you've already broken the patterns of being received. And so now I know what it's like to be received, except that from that early child space, because you already made the choice of, I don't know what it feels like to be received, until you switch that paradigm energetically for yourself and change it from the past, from the root of when it actually sunk in the first place, you're going to be putting out that energy of can't be received, even though that's what you want the most. So there's a big reframe that needs to happen, and you need to clear that energetically. You can do that with a whole host of different healing tools available. In my classes, we deal with belief systems, we deal with the neural pathways in the brain so that you can reprogram them and create a new pathway forward for yourself. And that needs to start at the root of all of the wounding, which for most of us started in our formative years. So there's some good insight for you now, just to go back to that early childhood space when you knew it's all about love, folks. It's happiness, it's joy. Hey, parents, relax. Stop getting so upset about everything. Why don't you look at me, the child, and dive into my fantasy world, or ask me about my invisible friend, or whatever it is that you felt that you needed from your parents, whether it was more holding, more love, more acceptance, more freedom, whatever you felt that you needed. Rewrite your childlike paradigm and then apply it to every slice of your life's pie. If you'd like some help with this and you want to start to do some really deep self-healing work that will serve you for the rest of your life, then the next Runner from Fear into Love is coming up, and it starts April 9th, and I'd love to have you on board. Please book a free mind shift call with me, 20 minutes. Right there and then you might have a wonderful aha reframe moment, and I'd love to speak with you. Lots of love. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.